Welcome to COVID-19 Local Impact Ottawa Valley. I'm Trevor Riley. Remember to stay up to date with local COVID-19 information right here on yourTV. To start things off, we are going to be taking a look at the numbers for Ontario and a review of the COVID-19 situation here in Renfrew County. The Renfrew County and District Health Unit updates their website at 12 noon each day, and at the time of the latest update on April 1st, the county had no new reports of confirmed cases, and that stays at 7. No new deaths were reported, and that stays at 1, and total tests done sit at 333, with an increase in negative tests coming in at 161, which is an increase of 31, and we are currently awaiting the results for 165 tests. In Ontario, the number of cases went up by 426, bringing it to 2,392. That's a 21% increase from the last report. 37 deaths have been reported at the time of that report, which was updated at 10:30 a.m. April 1st. Total tests in the province of Ontario is now well on its way to 60,000 as it surpasses 57,000 total tests done. Now from our yourTV station in Muskoka, Premier Doug Ford joined James Bowler for a call-in speaking about how Ontario's mechanical industry is stepping up to the plate to create surgical equipment for frontline workers.
2 surgical masks and then level 2 surgical gowns and N95 mask and gloves, and everyone in the world wants the same items. The good news is that we can manufacture anything right here in Ontario. We have some great companies that have stepped up in the auto part manufacturing arena that are worldwide companies, and they're putting their engineering might and their ingenuity behind making the ventilators and making the N95 masks right here in Ontario. So it's all hands on deck, and we'll make sure that their frontline healthcare workers have the supplies they need. In saying all that, it is absolutely critical that we flatten the curve and slow the spread, and that goes back to following the protocol from the Chief Medical Officer that we have to continue on with the social distancing.
Today we are talking to CNL, Canadian Nuclear Laboratories, as they have been busy with the design and production of masks and ventilators for frontline workers in the health system in Renfrew County. Joe McBeardy, Chief Operating Officer, and Scott Reed in Mechanical Equipment Development joined me for a call to talk about the great work being done by their team. To start, Scott tells us about the 3D printing process and how they've been critiquing the process to get it just right and also be as efficient as possible.
We're using an open source design. So the design that we're using is the RC2 or RC3 Prusa face shield design. So that's made by Prusa, which is a 3D printing company in Europe. And this design has been sort of widely communicated throughout the 3D printing community. So I had a colleague in the 3D printing community reach out about a week ago to discuss potential opportunities of how we could turn our small army of 3D printers into a bit of a workhorse to protect our frontline workers. And one of the first things we thought we could get started right away was on the Prusa face shields. Right now we have about a team of 12 that are currently operating anywhere from 1 to 3 printers on their own. They vary quite widely in their capabilities, anything from kind of small consumer 3D printers that people had in their homes for their own personal use, up to sort of the more kind of professional workhorse scale printers that CNL has that we were able to get offsite into the hands of our printing professionals. So that's the printing staff that we have. We also have a couple sort of sub-suppliers that we're working with for the visors themselves. So the clear plastic that's used in a part of the assembly for the Prusa face shield. So originally when we started a week ago, when we started with the RC2 design, we were getting anywhere from about 3 hours for our more professional end 3D printers to about 6 hours for the more consumer ones. Over the course of the week, we have been refining the printing parameters and the layout on the printers to reduce that down to two hours for the more professional ones to 3 hours for the consumer end ones. So we've reduced that time frame by quite a substantial margin. And we've also optimized how often we need to check in on the printers. So originally we were checking in on them pretty much once an hour. Now we can go for pretty much 8-hour runs, and the printers are kind of humming along throughout that time.
When we come back, we hear about how the group at CNL jumped all over the opportunity to help frontline workers with more than just 3D printed masks. For more information on COVID-19, check out the Renfrew County and District Health Unit by visiting rcdhu.com. And for more local reaction to COVID-19, visit our website at yourtv.tv/Ottawa Valley. More when we return. You're watching COVID-19 Local Impact Ottawa Valley right here on Your TV. Welcome back. The team at CNL didn't look twice when the idea to support frontline workers became an option. They were able to get everything together and begin production with the support from the very top.
Just overwhelmingly positive. I think the mood in the team of 12 that we have right now is sky high. Everyone is thrilled to be doing something that they recognize has a positive impact in our local community, and just knowing that the support from the local community to keep us going is out there, as well as from our executive to say, do whatever you can to make it happen, is, it's support from either end, and everyone on the team is highly motivated, and we're just thrilled to be able to help as much as we can.
Now, getting these items to hospitals and frontline workers are the next steps, and these connections are being made.
Yeah, Trevor and Scott, thanks very much for that. So we have been working very closely with Ontario officials, national officials. In particular, we're working very closely with the Renfrew County Emergency Services folks. We're actually using those folks as kind of a distribution point for not only the face shields that Scott's talking about, but also a large amount of personal protective equipment in gloves, N95 masks, regular masks, sterilizers, suits for personal protective equipment. And in actuality, this afternoon we expect to send out a very large shipment to the Renfrew County Emergency Services folks to be distributed to the local hospitals and organizations that need it. And the face shield example is, I would say, a perfect example of guys going out there doing it on their own. Nobody asked them to do it. They took it, they ran with it, they proposed it to us, and we told them, go do this. This is exactly what we as a federally funded organization need to be doing. And when you look at how everyone participates in responding to this crisis, this is the type of actions and enthusiasm and innovation that I think CNL breeds, and the guys working this project are great examples of it.
Now, one item that has been discussed at the center of the COVID-19 talks is the need for ventilators, and CNL has been working closely with their partners to create a simple ventilator that can be produced quickly. Both Scott and Joe are part of that team and working to get that project off the ground.
Another very fast-moving, evolving project that we are involved in, and this is a ventilator, a simple off-the-shelf type ventilator project, which you may have read about in the Globe and Mail. We are tied with Dr. Art McDonald, Nobel laureate, Triumph Lab, Snow Lab, and a bunch of Italian physicists, all tied together to be able to design, prototype, and test kind of simple ventilators made with off-the-shelf products that can be mass-produced. So that's in progress. We got involved in that early last week, and it's been a constant push, and we expect to have some prototypes maybe ready to go by the end of this week, early next week. So it's a very fast-moving project because there is a need. We see it in the United States right now. Obviously, saw it in Europe, but we're going to see it in Canada too. So we understand that need, and our team is out there participating, designing, and building these.
I guess maybe to Joe's point on the ventilator project, that is actually a part of the same group that I work with. A lot of my colleagues are working on that as well. So that's mechanical equipment development personnel and assets are going to be put to work producing that prototype and as much supply as we can to help with that need as well, because as Joe said, that's a huge one as well.
I want to thank Joe and Scott for joining me today to tell us a little bit about some of the work being done at CNL to help with the fight against COVID-19. Make sure to stay with yourTV as we continue our COVID-19 Local Impact series every weekday here at 5 p.m. on Channel 700 and on our website at yourtv.tv. We hope you are staying safe wherever you are watching, and we are in this together, and we will get through this. Thanks for watching.
Taking steps in regards to personal protection equipment that we've never ever done before. Items such as, making sure all our officers have access to hand sanitizer, gloves, eyewear, masks. This is all equipment that we've always had as part of our preparation for pandemic, but never actually had to put in place until now. And certainly this extends to not only the wearing of our personal equipment, which has to be wiped down and cleaned on a daily basis,